Number 10. Just One Kiss. A woman from Illinois shot her ex-boyfriend to death after he refused to kiss her in front of his new girlfriend in October of 2021. It's not always the guys getting rejected. Many times advancements made by women are turned down too. 28-year-old Claudia Resendez Flores had recently moved into an apartment with 2 roommates, her ex-boyfriend James P. Jones and his new significant other. Claudia had 3 children and seemed to have her life together, but it turns out she couldn't handle rejection very well. One night while the 3 roommates were having a good time together and drinking, she leaned in and asked James to give her a kiss. He flat out refused, and instead opted to kiss his new girlfriend, who was sitting right next to them. With this, Claudia then asked the girlfriend to kiss her too, and was again turned down. At this point, something snapped within the woman. She quickly grabbed James' gun, which he kept stored in the couch cushions in case anything ever went wrong. She then pointed the weapon at her ex and his new partner, took off the gun's safety, and fired at James. The shocked girlfriend who witnessed this quickly grabbed a nearby phone and called the police. Claudia was arrested by the authorities when they arrived and confessed to shooting and killing her roommate. Her defense attorney claims that she wasn't actually living with the couple at the time, but evidence would prove otherwise. She's since been charged with first-degree murder and is awaiting trial. Number 9. MAYRA ZULFIQAR. A young woman named MAYRA ZULFIQAR had recently graduated from law school in Britain when she became the target of a murderer in Lahore, Pakistan in 2021. She had apparently been pressured to accept a marriage proposal from the man who killed her, but every time she'd refuse. The Pakistani woman's body was found in May of that year, full of bullets with clear signs of torture, lying in a pool of blood inside her Lahore apartment. Her uncle, Muhammad Nazir, was the one who found her. Before MAYRA's death, he heard that his niece had recently been arguing with some men. They told MAYRA that if she didn't marry one of them, she'd have to face the consequences. MAYRA had decided to live in Pakistan for a short time during the pandemic because she didn't want to wait in quarantine in order to stay in the UK. She thought it would be more comfortable to live with her grandmother for the time being, and for the most part she did. MAYRA made some new friends, but also attracted the attention of a few unsavory men. There are some conflicting reports regarding whether or not she was engaged before her death. A few family members from Pakistan claimed that the 25-year-old woman was actually engaged to a man, and they were going to get married soon. The same sources said it was only one man causing issues. But eventually, a suspect came forward, 26-year-old Zahir Jadoon. This wealthy playboy often posted photos of himself on social media, showing off guns. In 2019, he was even wanted for another murder, but nothing was ever done against him. It's believed that Zahir wasn't prosecuted because he comes from a rich socialite family in Pakistan. Allegedly before her death, Zahir had been stalking MAYRA and sending her multiple threats. There are many conflicting sources on this case as to what happened to MAYRA and whether or not Zahir was responsible. Many users online believe that he was though, and he got off without repercussions thanks to police corruption. Number 8. ANDREA FARRINGTON. On June 12, 2015, 20-year-old ANDREA FARRINGTON was shot to death in Iowa's Coral Ridge Mall. Her attacker was 23-year-old Alexander Kozak. ANDREA had apparently put an end to their relationship, and Alexander did not react well. We call it a relationship loosely because the 2 young adults had never advanced anywhere past texting one another. In the end, ANDREA wanted to end their conversations because she started taking an interest in another guy. This rejection cut Alexander deep in his feelings. In an interview, he said that he almost didn't kill the girl, but decided to after reading her last text to him, which simply read, "Fine, bye." He also claims that ANDREA said he freaked her out and was a bit afraid of him. Looking back at things, she had every right to be. He shot her in the back at the mall they both worked at, then ran to his car and drove away. However, police eventually caught up with him and he was arrested. Alexander admitted that, at the time of the murder, he felt absolutely nothing. After some time passed though, he does claim to be remorseful, but who knows if he's telling the truth or not. Alexander Kozak was found guilty of first-degree murder and is currently in prison on a life sentence. Number 7. Walgreens murder. One of the last places people want to be hit on is at work, and it's even weirder if it's coming from a boss or older co-worker. Sadly, 17-year-old Riley Whitelaw had to deal with constant advances from her 28-year-old co-worker, Joshua Johnson, while they worked at Walgreens in Colorado Springs in 2022. This situation is made worse by the fact that Riley was just a minor when Joshua hit on her. She was obviously extremely uncomfortable with his actions, so she turned him down time after time and even reported his behavior to her superiors. However, nothing she did seemed to help the situation, and on June 11th, the teenager never came back to work after taking a break. Her body was found inside the store's break room. There was blood everywhere, covering the cabinets and floor, and Riley had a severe neck injury. The manager on duty that night, Justin Zanino, was the one who found her and called the police. He told detectives that Joshua was told to leave the young girl alone over a year ago, but kept it up. The flirting situation was made worse when Riley's boyfriend started working at the same Walgreens, and Joshua became jealous and aggravated. The girl asked to be put on different shifts than the man, but said it was fine when she needed some overtime hours. The day of the murder, Joshua was seen stacking objects in front of the security cameras and obstructing their view. Police found the suspect later that night walking along the highway. The man had scratch marks on his face and hands. Joshua has been charged with first-degree murder, and his trial continues on November 15, 2022. Number 6. Tara Serino. In 2017, 34-year-old Christopher Tucker brutally murdered 19-year-old Tara Serino after she turned down his marriage proposal near Halloween in Pennsylvania. The young woman's body was found by police in Christopher's home after her father called them with some concerns. He said that Tara had gone out on October 30th and promised to call her parents to check in later, but she never did. The next day, her dad called authorities and asked if they could do a wellness check at Christopher's house. When they arrived, they found Tara's dead body, mutilated, with her eyes gouged out. Christopher and Tara had been involved in some kind of way, but it's not clear whether or not they were ever in a committed relationship. During interrogation, Christopher revealed that Tara told him she was seeing other men. This, paired with the marriage rejection, made him snap. In custody, he admitted to breaking her neck and using a hatchet on the girl before wrapping her in a rug and running away. He was later arrested near a truck stop and was taken into custody. In 2021, Christopher was found guilty of first-degree murder and has since been sentenced to life behind bars for the crime. What's the worst reaction you've ever received after ending a relationship? Let us know in the comments below. And while you're at it, hit that subscribe button. Number 5. MIYA Marcano. On October 2, 2021, the body of a 19-year-old student from Valencia College named MIYA Marcano was discovered in Orlando. She was last seen alive on September 24th of that year and was quickly reported missing after she didn't get on a flight to visit her family back home. Her killer was 27-year-old Armando Caballero. He worked at an apartment complex with MIYA and repeatedly made romantic advances toward the young woman. According to police, time and time again she turned him down, but something must have finally snapped in the man. MIYA's body was found 20 miles away from the apartment building in a secluded, wooded spot. Investigators believe Armando broke into her home and abducted her before ending MIYA's life. When police went to try and arrest the man, they found him lifeless, as he had apparently ended his own life. After hearing about this case, many people online took this as an opportunity to speak up about violence against women and how many men struggle to take no for an answer. Hopefully, this awareness and public outcry will make a positive change for young girls like MIYA in the future. Number 4. LAKEEYA Walker. In March 2015, a 22-year-old pregnant woman was attacked in the building she worked at in New York. Her assailant was a 32-year-old man named Daryl Gilliard. After holding the door open for LAKEEYA Walker, Daryl took it personally when she didn't thank him. Apparently, he tossed a hot cup of coffee in the woman's face, then pushed her to the ground. LAKEEYA says he picked her up by the neck and then proceeded to punch and kick her straight in the stomach, which is worse considering she was 9 weeks along at the time. She says the man would have done more damage if she wasn't struggling during the encounter, making it difficult for him. The woman didn't do anything else to provoke Daryl besides not expressing gratitude that he held the door open for her. All she was doing was putting salt on the ground outside to melt the ice. LAKEEYA does think that it's possible a fellow employee could have set her up to be attacked. While the fight was happening, they supposedly watched it unfold from across the street and did nothing to help. According to records on file, Daryl was convicted of second-degree assault and was given 5 years of probation for his crime. Number 3. Jaw-breaking beauty. In Chico, California in 2015, a woman had her jaw broken by a random man on the street. Catcalling is a huge problem, especially in bigger cities, and can turn scary for many people if they're being targeted at night. In March of that year, a young student from Chico State named Raylyn Vincent was walking home at 2 in the morning on a Saturday. She had just left her boyfriend's house and was headed down the street when a red Volkswagen vehicle passed her. The car allegedly stopped, and a man from inside started gawking at her and making inappropriate remarks. When Raylyn didn't entertain his comments and continued about her business, the strange man got out of his car and ran up to her. He then swung and punched Raylyn in the face, knocking her down before sprinting back and driving away. When she fell, Raylyn hit her head pretty hard, and the incident left her with a broken jaw. Her boyfriend was watching her while she walked home to make sure she made it safe and witnessed the incident from a distance. He came running to her aid with his roommate after seeing the assault. Raylyn had to be taken to the hospital and she underwent surgery to wire her jaw. The whole attack was so quick that she barely got a good look at her attacker besides a brief description of his hair and height. It's unknown if the man was ever caught for his actions, but at least Raylyn will make a decent recovery. Number 2. ANDREA NAGY. Many women dream of getting proposed to and eventually walking down the aisle to marry the love of their life. But more often than not, dreams don't dictate reality. In July 2017, Andre Pavel went to visit his girlfriend at her job in North Staffordshire, England. While there, he asked her to marry him. Unfortunately, she flat out rejected him, sending the man into a rage. Andre punched his lover, ANDREA NAGY, in the face, then ran away. The couple had only been seeing each other in a whirlwind relationship for a little over 3 months. In that time, they'd already moved in together, but things had recently gone downhill and the two broke up. Andre had tried to contact his ex many times over text and wanted her back more than anything. That's why he bought an engagement ring and decided to ask ANDREA to be his forever love. For punching the woman, Andre was given a 12-month community order and was also told to complete 150 hours of unpaid work. He had to abide by a restraining order and was forced to stay away from ANDREA for good as well. Number 1. WANDA PLAZA Tantrum. Everyone knows the age-old saying, money can't buy happiness, but apparently, one rich man from southern China didn't quite get the memo. He proposed to his girlfriend with an elaborate setup which included dozens of roses, curated balloons, an entire luxury Lamborghini, and even a fireworks display. He popped the question in Hunan Province's WANDA PLAZA shopping center in 2018. It was all filmed by multiple witnesses, and you'd think that he'd get a positive response with all the effort he put in, but in a shocking twist, his girlfriend said no. The video of the incident shows that a wave of emotions came over the man. He threw the massive bouquet of roses to the floor and went on a rampage, knocking over displays in nearby shops, all while his friends tried to calm him down. The rejected suitor yelled at his lover, saying he could buy her whatever she wanted, but she just answered, "You have money, so what?" Then she walked away. The crowd was left speechless, and users online applauded the woman. Some claimed that if she had gone through with the marriage, she might have been a victim of domestic violence. In any case, just remember folks, money can't buy love or a fiancé. Have you ever been rejected? How did you take it? Let us know in the comments below, and subscribe to see more videos. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time on The Bad Badger.